In the late 80s, the X-Men comic books were so popular that they were able to support really popular spin-offs like the fantastic Excalibur series, first created by Chris Claremont and Alan Davis. Now that Marvel's X-Men line is in a really fantastic and healthy place, thanks to the House of X and Powers of 10 reboot by Jonathan Hickman, Pepe Larraz, and R.B. Silva, the publisher is looking to continue with a new Excalibur title. Sadly, that Excalibur series came to an end after a couple years of really fantastic stories, and Marvel is looking to kind of close the chapter on at least this era of the X-Men with Knights of X number 5. This is the finale to the Knights of X series and kind of caps off some of the plot threads of the first couple issues of Excalibur. But my question to you is it any good? My name is Arakko Braddock, and today let's go ahead and jump deep into the pages of Knights of X5 in order to get a better understanding of the series. But before we dig any deeper into the issue or the video, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel to go ahead and support all of our excellent content. And since you're already on the video, why not go ahead and hit that like button? And let's go ahead and dive deep into the creative team on this final issue of Knights of X. The issue is written by Tini Howard. We have art from Bob Quinn, colors from Erick Arciniega, and letters from Ariana Maher. The gorgeous cover for the issue is drawn by Yanick Paquette and Alejandro Sanchez. Let's go ahead and dive a little bit into the solicitation of the issue as well over from Marvel. Thy cup runneth over. Merlin has finally tipped into full-blown madness. He sent his Furies on a campaign across the realm to burn everything in sight, and only those who swear fealty to the Mad King will be spared. But there is hope. A bargain between a powerful new ally and the Knights of X may secure the Siege Perilous in the future of Avalon. Elsewhere, Saturnine forges an alliance with the former enemy, but trust is a fickle thing. Will these new allegiances bring triumph or ruin for the mutants of Otherworld? Let's go ahead and take a look at this issue overall. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and talk about Bob Quinn's excellent art throughout the series. By the way, let me go ahead and take a step back and say big thanks over to Adventures in Poor Taste for providing this preview for the finale of Knights of X. And let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Quinn's art. Quinn's art throughout the issue draws a ton of individual characters with the full kind of Knights of X roster comprising a staggering, 10 individual people. There's even more than 10 characters on any given page. This issue takes our cast to a really interesting environment, and I always kind of got the feeling that artist Bob Quinn really established a strong sense of place throughout the series. Also, take a look at how Quinn lays out these individual pages. This page in particular features such a staggering amount of X-Men characters, but the framing on the individual panels is still kind of broken up and kept together in a really interesting and fantastic manner. I really like how kind of fluid some of the artwork is overall on the series. And otherwise, this issue has also a really, really strong script. I would say that some of the reservations I have personally with this Knights of X series is I think it's taken on too much plot too quickly, and I think it almost alienates certain readers of the book. But I think if you just go ahead and read the recap page and have a good idea of who all these individual mutants are, there's a really good sense of payoff as the issue progresses. The concept of the Siege Perilous, which was used way back, decades ago in a previous X-Men run, is really utilized here in a fascinating way. I don't want to give away exactly how the Siege Perilous is used, but it was something something that I never expected, and I've been anticipating, you know, essentially all throughout the series. I also really appreciated how the character relationships in this series slowly progress and develop as the issue goes on. I think that Betsy and Rachel now have a really, really strong relationship that was kind of forged out of some of their really small dialogue interactions as the series kind of progressed as a whole. Also, this issue does a fantastic job really establishing how strong the relationship between Rogue and Gambit is as a whole. I haven't seen very many comics able to kind of flesh that relationship out in a big way now that the two are married, but I think this issue in particular really kind of celebrates the history of Gambit and the relationship that he has with Rachel as well. And the last few pages of the series also did a good job kind of motivating me to continue, and also curious to see where Knights of X is going to go from here. The story surprisingly wraps up in a really coherent manner. The Knights of X, finished the mission that they've been set out to do from the beginning of the issue, that has such kind of like such a strong kind of premise and such like a firm end goal in sight. I wonder, since this issue or this series as a whole seems like it was cut short, if any of the plot was abridged. Because I always hear comic book creators talk about how when they think that their series is going to be canceled, they always have kind of a back door that they can open up and end the series, a little bit more quickly than they would have otherwise. But frankly, the good news about this entire issue and series as a whole is that this isn't the end for Tini Howard or for Captain Britain in particular. The final caption of this issue just simply states that Captain Britain will return, and kind of features Betsy and Rachel just kind of walking off into the sunset. It's a really kind of beautiful page that shows how the series has progressed in such a big way. It's so fantastic that we have a series putting forth so much effort in some of these B and C tier X-Men characters. Now that I'm a little bit removed from Excalibur and Knights of X, I can appreciate it even more. I do think, as a sort of negative, that some of the plot elements in this series and issue as a whole are definitely still rushed. There's a little bit of a shorthand established that can make it especially difficult for new readers to start jumping onto Knights of X and seeing how interesting, Captain Britain or Betsy Braddock is as a character. But this is still a pretty good place to start. If you're interested in Captain Britain or Betsy Braddock, my recommendation is still to just jump right into Excalibur and then make sure that you're kind of like documenting and keeping the characters straight, because there's so many interesting moments and items that happen along the way. At the end of the day here, I really want to say that I want more Tini Howard work in Marvel. I was a big fan of how some of the plot elements from Ten of Swords kind of spilled out into all these other comics, including this issue as well. And I know that Howard was a huge kind of architect for establishing that lore. And I just hope that we get some Captain Britain, fiction that's as good as Knights of X, and hopefully better now that we have a more firm grasp on the characters. Did you like this series as much as I did? What do you want me to go ahead and cover next on the channel? Go ahead and let me know, and please look forward to more videos coming this week that are going to be just as exciting, covering the next couple topics over at Marvel. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.